Dak Prescott absolutely torched your secondary on Sunday Night Football. 90% completion percentage against pressure, 134 yards, a touchdown, turnover-worthy plays, 0. And the reason I'm highlighting what he was able to do against pressure is because that means he had to get the ball out quickly. That means your cornerbacks did not have to cover as long as they usually did if he had time in the pocket and if he wasn't being pressured, and he still absolutely torched you. And the craziest thing about it is he did all of this without CeeDee Lamb, who many people think is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. He was on the bench. His best weapon, on the bench. Unfortunately, it feels like right now the secondary, in a way, has regressed to the mean. They started off hot, man. That first game against the Lions, unbelievable. That second game against the Commanders, somehow even better. And then week 3, they had their warts. And then week 4, it was easily their worst game of the season. Nate Hobbs had his worst game of the season, and boy, did I look silly, because just about, 2 days before that football game, I talked for 13 minutes straight about how awesome Nate Hobbs has been this season. Well, that was over. 6 targets, 5 receptions, 57 yards led up, 2 touchdowns. The passer rating, when he was targeted, was 145.8. 145.8. And that wasn't even the highest one. Looking at the rest of the secondary, right? This is a different website's metrics, so the numbers are going to be a little bit skewed. That's why Nate Hobbs is different. But still, you get the gist. Carrington Valentine, almost 160. Javon Bullard, 98.6. Xavier McKinney, 95.8. Evan Williams, 89.6. You notice Keyshawn Nixon wasn't in the bottom 5 because he's been balling. Now, I'm not saying that they suck, right? I don't want you to be like, Joey, you're so hypocritical. Just a couple of weeks ago, you were saying this was the best secondary in the league. I'm not saying they're awful. I'm not giving up hope. I'm not saying like, we got to do something. We got to do something right now, or this team's going to lose every single football game. But I am asking the question of, okay, now that we've seen this, and now that we feel like they might be back down to average, should a move be made by Brian Gutekunst to try to get a cornerback in here? Because as we know, when Jair Alexander left, you did nothing really to replace him, except move Bo Melton over from the wide receiver position. So should they make a move, try to bolster some things up, and feel a little bit better about the secondary going forward? That's what we're talking about on today's show. But I want you guys to tell me by liking today's video if you think the Packers should trade for a cornerback. If you think they need some help, show me by hitting that thumbs up button and liking today's show. We're going to talk about a couple of cornerback trade targets, starting with Tariq Woolen with the Seattle Seahawks, better known as Reek Woolen. And this one is not one we're just pulling out of thin air, okay? This was reported earlier this week that this is a legitimate possibility that the Seattle Seahawks could move on from Reek Woolen. Ian Rappaport was the one who had the story. With Devon Witherspoon returning on Thursday, teams are monitoring Pro Bowl wide receiver Reek Woolen as a possible trade target by the deadline, sources tell the insiders. Woolen's playing time has diminished, and in a contract year, teams believe he could be available. Now, I talked to our Seahawks Today host and all of his inside sources, everything that he was seeing on social media, and the rumor circulating is that the general manager of the Seattle Seahawks, John Schneider, is the one who leaked that report to Ian Rappaport, which means basically Seattle wants him out of Seattle. Seattle's willing, open, able, and responsive to trade offers. They want somebody to call him. Is Brian Gutekunst that somebody? Because you got to think of it this way. You made the big move already to bring in Micah Parsons. So we know that this team is all in on competing for a Super Bowl in 2025. So if you feel now, after 4 games, with what you saw against Dallas on Sunday night, if you feel like now this secondary is what might lead you to not hoist that Lombardi trophy, you've already made one big move. Why not make another? Tie up that loose end. Right? You already cut the head off of one snake. Why not cut the head off of another? Now, Reek Woolen, 2024 year, hasn't been the best. Okay? But this might be the perfect time to trade for him. because you know that his value is probably at its lowest. And maybe if you get him in a good rotation with a good pass rush, things might be different. 14 tackles so far in 2025, but 2024, 46. Excuse me. In 15 games played. 53 the year before that in 16 games played. 2022, 63 tackles in 17 games played. Multiple interceptions in each of his past 3 seasons. I think that Riq Woolen is the best realistic trade target. There's a lot of trade names you'll hear around the National Football League. And why those players might be a little bit better, I think Riq Woolen is the most realistic because we know for a fact that Seattle is trying to deal him, in a sense. I talked to a lot of our analysts here at Chat Sports. We believe it'd be a 4th-round pick. So in return, you'd get Riq Woolen. You'd give away a 2026 4th-rounder. You already don't have a 1st-round pick in that draft. You still have your 2nd. You still have your 3rd. Would you give up a 4th for Riq Woolen? To me, like, that value might be worth the risk. If you can get him down to a 5th, I would be all for it. Based on what I saw from this defense, based on what I saw from these cornerbacks, based on what Dak Prescott did against your secondary, even in the face of pressure, it might be worth it. Would you accept this trade? Let me know down below. Type A for accept or type D for decline for me in the comment section down below. Riq Woolen for a 2026 4th-round pick. You let me know what you're going to do. And I'm going to let you guys know what you should do, okay? Give our friends at Underdog a shot because they are rolling out their best deal yet. Football season is in full swing. An Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Let's cut to the chase. If you download the app today and sign up with promo code PackersReport, you score $100 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. My picks were absolutely crushing it on Sunday Night Football. Wish you wouldn't have tied that football game, but hey, I won some money with our friends at Underdog. Dak Prescott, I had the higher than 0.0 pass rush yards or pass or rush yards. Sometimes they give you awesome discounts like that. I had to take advantage. I had the Matthew Golden higher than 3.5 first-quarter receiving yards, so you know I was freaking out when he caught that 40-yard bomb down the field in like the 2nd or 3rd play of the game. And then I had the higher on Jordan Love pass yards. He diced him up. I felt really, really good about that one. Cashed out $100 with our friends at Underdog. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code PackersReport to score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code PackersReport. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. My second trade target we got to talk about is Joshua Williams, one with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Joshua Williams does not have the same name value as Riq Woolen. He also, unfortunately, does not have the same play value as Riq Woolen does. Basically, when it comes to Joshua Williams, he's been a special teams player in 2025. The thing about possibly trading for him, A, it wouldn't cost you that much. And if you look back to his past 3 seasons, he's played 40% of defensive snaps in his last 3 years. Like, if we just get bodies in the rotation, and Joshua Williams is one of those, I wouldn't hate it. Now, am I pounding the table? You got to go get Williams? No, I'm not. But if it happened, like, I think I could positively spin it in a way where I think it makes sense. 1 tackle in 2025, so you know he wouldn't be that expensive. 33 the year before, 18 the year before that, had his best year in 2022 with 40 total tackles. And the funny thing is like, I still think I would prefer over Joshua Williams to just sign Stephon Gilmore as a free agent. He's still available. He's still out there. I get it. He's old. I understand that. But I still think he can play some high-level football. Heck, I think all these free agents can still play some high-level football. Asante Samuel Jr., Stephon Gilmore, Kendall Fuller. All three of those guys at the current recording of this video are available on the free agent market. I think those guys might be plug and play after a week or two in this system. I'd rather have all three than Joshua Williams. Now, would I rather have all three of them than Woolen? I don't know from a talent perspective, but you could interest me more in signing them as free agents than trading away a 4th-round pick or a 5th-round pick for a guy like Rick Woolen. Maybe Brian Gutekunst needs to wait a couple of weeks to kind of see this defense play out and also wait until see how the health of Asante Samuel Jr. kind of progresses throughout the next couple of weeks, because I think he's the best player out of the free agents available. He's definitely the youngest player out of the three free agents available. But, of course, as we know, he's dealing with some health issues, and they might not be good. Which would you rather? Trade for a cornerback or sign a cornerback in free agency? If you'd rather trade, type T for trade. Or if you'd rather sign one, go ahead and give me an S for sign. I'm going to wrap this up, and send you on your way like this. I'm not giving up on the secondary one bit. I don't want you to hear that I think this team needs to do something. I just think they should be at least talking about it. But also, to be so dependent on the defensive line to get sacks, it scares me a little bit. I'd like to at least have the conversation. I don't want a game where our defense doesn't sack the quarterback as much to be a game like Dallas where they put up 40 points. That's not sustainable. That's not going to win playoff games for you. You need to have a good enough secondary to be there in coverage, making plays, even if the defensive line has an off. That's going to do it. Make sure you follow me on social media, at Twitter, on Instagram, at Joey Petersen. And if you're not subscribed, hey, change it right now. Hit that sub button.